Good morning, beautiful. This is me, Waddles, and welcome to Update Day. After slowly wandering through the wild desert that was Minecraft 1.19.2 for the better half of a year, it's now time for Minecraft 1.19.3. This is a relatively big update with lots of different changes. I set up a small world for us. Let's check out everything. Take a seat, sit back, and relax because we've got a lot to go over today. Inside of this update, look at this. In the top row are some bigger changes, for example, creative inventory and brand new spawn eggs. In the middle are some other changes that you should definitely know about. And well, would you take a look at that? The bottom of the chest, it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Kind of. So Minecraft 1.19.3, the third installment in the Java 1.19 saga, dropped on December 6th, 2022. 1 week before List Week begins over on the Waddles channel. The release of this update is no joke, 5 months after the release of 1.19.2. It's been so long. This update was developed over the course of 5 snapshots and a small handful of pre-releases and release candidates. There's some pretty big changes, some pretty medium changes, and tons of bug fixes. We'll start right here with mob spawning. Inside of this update, there have been some amazing bug fixes that have to do with mob spawning. One that you're going to see like right away is on the scaffolding. If you use any scaffolding in your farms and you've ever had like a zombie spawn on one, that's never gonna happen again. Same thing for the chorus plants, but I don't know who uses that. And also, the scaffolding, it's brand new. The texture of the scaffolding block has been updated ever so slightly to match the brand new, upcoming, and kind of here in bamboo blocks, but we'll come back to those later. In this update, we've got a handful of shulker box bug fixes and a shulker box change. Look at this thing. This is what we call a supportive king, as in it's like supporting a bunch of things. And previously, somehow this would have defied all logic. When I open it, the things on the side would have stayed, and unfortunately, no longer the case. It's not gonna work. Over inside of my anvil, I'm giving this cartography table a beautiful name for, I don't know, just for reasons. If I go ahead and name this cartography table and then place it down, go inside of it, we see it's just a cartography table. If I go ahead and break this thing to pick it back up, will the name be there? No. The name is gone now, and that's going to be the same for all of these other workstation blocks. Previously, if I were to have named one of these blocks and placed it down and picked it back up, it would have kept its name, but not anymore. Alright, so for this next one, let's switch things up a little bit. Here I am, over in my local neighborhood mansion. We're gonna go ahead and carefully move into this mansion and look for one specific thing. This thing is a brand new, a huge upgrade to a mob that's been in the game for like forever. This mob is commonly found inside of the mansion. Whoop, don't look at that. The mob is usually found inside of these mansions or inside of raids too. And I hear them everywhere. Anybody? I actually can't find it. Alright, well anyways, check this out. Here we have an evoker, and when the evoker summons things in, these brand new things that it summons in, they're gonna look completely different. The Vex has received a gigantic overhaul inside of this update. A readjustment of the bounding box, a realignment of the eyes, and that beautiful texture. Look at this thing. Oh, that's so good looking. And insanely dangerous. It's just as dangerous as ever. This new Vex model has essentially been modernized. Goodbye, old Vex model with some kind of smirk, smile, and hello, a brand new gigantic head Vex model that kind of looks like the LA. Like a lot more. LA right there, brand new Vex right there. I mean, look at this. You tell me how these aren't the same thing. This all raises a question about baby villagers for me, though. How about the baby villager? I mean, compared to the adult villager, it just looks... I mean, this thing looks old. It needs an update, too. If you're into the Vex, check out the most recent Everything series episode on the thing, but after this video, because we've got even more changes to check out, including one that may be a hint of the bundle. So, rabbits right over here. Rabbits. We've got a rabbit. We got a rabbit. Oh, okay. I was saying, we've got a rabbit update in this update. When you take out a rabbit, as of now, every single time you do that, you will always get a piece of raw rabbit. Does this relate to the bundle? Or am I just dreaming again? Fans of getting rid of water rejoice, because if you have a water bucket and you want to get rid of it, you can now dump it out in a block that is waterlogged. Previously, if I tried to do that, the water source would have basically landed like up on top of the block. Kind of hard to show because I keep waterlogging it, but yeah, you can empty a bucket into water. A very strange turtle bug has existed in the game for like a million years now at this point. If you were to breed 2 turtles, then they'll go ahead and do that. One of them will go lay the eggs, and then basically, you could breed this turtle with a 3rd turtle, like, immediately, and it would do the eggs again, like right away. That has been fixed. Turtle breeding is on a 5-minute cooldown now. Get ready to feel more immersed in life than ever, because creepers can now be ignited with fire charges, and for some reason, when you ignite these creepers, doesn't seem to use a fire charge either.
Nice.
Spawn egg changes have happened inside of this update, but probably not the ones you're thinking about. The polar bear spawn egg has been changed to differentiate from the clearly very different ghast spawn egg now. We'll come back to spawn eggs though. Because you see, before we can talk about spawn eggs, we've got to check out that brand new fresh creative inventory. The creative inventory has been completely redone inside of Minecraft 1.19.3, and finally, this change is so overdue. Now, it's going to be difficult to pinpoint every single creative inventory change here in this update because, I mean, there are so many, but here are some of the big ones. For starters, spawn eggs. You've got your own spawn egg tab, and they're all in alphabetical order. I don't remember if it was like this before, but it's beautiful. It's perfect now. The redstone tab is a big one for stoners. If you're into redstone, this tab is completely reorganized, entirely redone. Hopefully, the most useful things to you are up at the top, and then everything else, it's in the tab. Of course, brand new icons for these tabs, including this one right here, a brand new colored block tab for every single colorful block in the game. That's colorful. The building block tab over here has been completely reorganized as well, beginning with the natural raw form of the log, and then all of the variants and things you can craft it into following. As we start to scroll down through this tab, we're going to find tons and tons of other block families. It's all organized now. A very intriguing thing about the building blocks is perhaps a hint about the future. It seems that maybe soon we will be able to get reinforced deep slate in survival. At least this is what I'm interpreting from this, because it's clearly inside of building blocks and you cannot build with this in survival. No, no, no. Well, anyways, we got natural blocks right here, you know, like natural things. We've got functional blocks over here, like workstations, amazing. Down here, we've got ingredients, like, you know, crafting things, food and drinks, which is food and drinks, and all of the suspicious stew now here. We've got combat, we've got tools and utilities. Now, when you load up a game to check out this new inventory, this tab over here, operator utilities, may be completely missing, and that's because there's a brand new setting inside of the settings. If we go into controls, operator items tab, by default, this is going to be off, and when it is off, it's going to look like this. If we go ahead and go back into this thing, turn it on, then we get this brand new tab, and inside of this tab, we've got things like command blocks, structure blocks, and other more technical things. A fun innovation about this brand new organization system is the fact that blocks can be in multiple tabs at the same time. The lectern is right over here, and then over in redstone, it's also very redstone-y, and so it's found here. Search is going to work exactly how you always used it. If you search up red, it's going to pull up all of the red things. The difference here, though, is the order of the tab. If it's found in building blocks, it's going to pop up first. Meanwhile, if it's found in like redstone, it's going to pop up over here. It's going in this order right there, and then this order down there. So that's a small intro to the creative inventory changes, but if you'd like to see a dedicated video on it, then let me know down below. Now, obviously, alongside the revamp of this entire inventory system, we have the removal of one block, the petrified oak slab, and then the addition of tons and tons of blocks. For example, all of these things right here, and, for example, the brand new named monster spawner block. Previously, this was called the mob spawner. Now, the monster spawner has got a complete and total overhaul. Previously, you would have had to use commands to give yourself this, and when you did, a pig would be inside of this thing from the beginning. Now, obviously, that's not the case here. The monster spawner, I mean, look at this thing. If you're in creative, potentially a beautiful, beautiful building block, right? Aside from that small rename, aside from the fact that it's inside of the creative inventory, and aside from the fact that when you place it down, it's empty, everything else about this thing is exactly the same. If we grab a spawn egg and use the spawn egg on this thing, then whatever we tried to put inside of it will be inside of it, and give it enough time, the spawner will begin to spawn things. No spawning mechanics have changed at all. But brand new spawn eggs have definitely changed. This is one of the biggest updates inside of this update. So check this out. Inside of the creative inventory, inside of the spawn egg tab, if we scroll long enough in alphabetical order, eventually we're going to find a snow golem. There's also a brand new iron golem spawn egg. Both of these spawn eggs do exactly what you think they would do. Snow golem and iron golem. But there is also a brand new overpowered wither spawn egg, very dangerous, and a brand new ender dragon spawn egg as well. However, if we go ahead and search in here for wither, it's not going to pop up. That's what we're looking for. Same thing with ender dragon. It's not in the inventory. And boom, there we go. That's gone. And hey, look what it actually found. Speaking of spawners, if you're looking for the Wither and Ender Dragon spawn egg, you're gonna have to use the give command to get them because they are, well, they are dangerous. Potentially very, very, very bad. Or good. For the next update, we're over inside of the Nether, specifically by this portal, because this is exactly what it affects. In this update, portal farms have unfortunately been nerfed, specifically when it comes to the Enderman, the Skeleton, and the Wither Skeleton. A Nether portal, if you didn't know, gives off a light level of 11, no matter what. For these three mobs, the Skeleton, Wither Skeleton, and Enderman, to spawn in the Nether, you will now need a light level of 7 or below. Previously, it was 11, which means the mobs could definitely spawn inside of the portal and teleport away instantly. Endermen that hold blocks also now use loot tables to generate those held blocks, which means things should be a little bit more consistent when you take out an Enderman. For example, if the Enderman is holding a cake with a candle inside of it and you take that Enderman out, it should drop both of those things. Next up, beginning to slide into some more technical things, we've got a brand new command on Minecraft Java Edition in 1.19.3. That command is going to be the fill biome command. The fill biome command is pretty similar to the fill command, except this time it's with biomes. If we go ahead and run something like that, and then put a biome, like let's say, I don't know, forest right here. Actually, scratch that, snowy plains. We'll go ahead and do that. Then if we go ahead and flip things over to say rain, being in a Badlands biome, it shouldn't be raining at all, and most definitely not snowing, but sure enough, it is absolutely snowing inside of this thing because I completely changed the biome. The biome inside of this small area, as we can see here, is now a snowy plains biome. And speaking of all this snow, we've got brand new game rules inside of this update, and some amazing ones too, that you've got to know about. We begin with my favorite one, the snow accumulation height. By default, this is going to be 1, but you can set it to 0 or all the way up to 8. If I set it up to 8 and we watch the snow for a quick second, if I'm lucky here, the snow will actually, yep, you see that? The snow is piling up past 1 block. It's like on Bedrock Edition. Oh, it's so good. Now, the snow can pile all the way up to 1 block and then it'll stop piling up. And it won't melt either. 3 explosion-related game rules inside of this update. A block explosion drop decay, mob explosion drop decay, and finally, TNT explosion drop decay. By setting any of those 3 explosion game rules to false, when an explosion happens, every single block that was exploded will drop. If you set it to true, that won't be the case. By default, in vanilla Minecraft for TNT, that's going to be set to false, which means when you blow up a TNT, it's going to drop every single block in the ground like it did right there. On the other hand, for other explosions and mob explosions, it's going to be set to true. If you change that to false, you will get every single block. 2 game rules that kind of go together: game rule, water source conversion, and wait for it, lava source conversion. By default, the water one is true, this one is false. If I change it to true, oh my gosh, infinite easy lava generator. This is amazing. You could mess with these game rules and create some kind of interesting challenge, almost all in vanilla Minecraft here. So lava right there, set it to true, and look at this thing. This thing should fill in. Easy lava generator right there. Those are all lava sources now. No flowing. Wow. Last and honestly maybe least, our final brand new game rule of this update can be found inside of the game rule menu, just like all the other ones. It's called the global sound events. By default, it's on. If we turn it to off, then global sound events, for example, taking out the Ender Dragon, a Wither, it won't be heard everywhere. And you know, speaking of the Ender Dragon, 2 more updates that kind of relate to that. Locate structure stronghold. First things first, locating structures that are farther away, like maybe a stronghold or heck, even a mansion that's probably pretty far. It should be faster now. That's been optimized. And speaking of strongholds, the specific placement of these things has been adjusted. They'll still generate in rings in your world, but not in the exact spots that they would before. In a world of splash text, which... what is this one even? Like, what is that meaning? Anyways, some brand new beautiful splash texts inside of this update. Here they all are. Try and find them all. So clearly, as you can tell today, 1.90.3 is a pretty big update. When it comes to technical changes, I'm gonna have to point you to the update changelog because the technical changes, there are seriously so many different technical changes. We've got stuff involving chat, we've got stuff involving entities, we've got stuff involving realms, telemetry, sounds, and just so many different things. Resource packs, yeah, there's a lot here. Some more technical changes that we will talk about here. Telemetry data, it's a brand new setting. Telemetry data is basically you sharing gameplay data with the devs to improve the game. By default, it should be set to minimal, but you could definitely change it to all if you wanted to. On the main menu, it rotates and rotates and rotates, unless we go into accessibility settings and turn the brand new toggle, panorama scroll speed, all the way down. If I go ahead and do that, as you can see here, the menu is frozen, which it feels cursed. In game, if you pause your game and go to open a LAN, the screen has been completely redone. You can now specify a specific port number right there, and then your other toggles, they're going to be right there. If you give yourself some kind of infinite effect or like really long effect, now inside of this menu, it'll show you specifically how long that effect is actually going to last. That's insane. A very subtle but noticeable change for sure has to do with this knowledge book. The knowledge book texture has been updated to match the modern book texture instead of the pre-1.14 texture. To end our rapid round of changes, we ended with a big one. Inside of the create a new world screen, in this update, we've got a big change. If you slide into data packs, you should see 2 brand new data packs in here. One of them is called the bundle, and we slide that over. And then the other one is update 1.20. We'll slide that over too. These are upcoming features. They're not fully out quite yet, but inside of the normal game, and just like on Bedrock Edition, you can test the new stuff. Now, when it comes to new stuff, this is something that I think we'll talk a little bit more about in a video that I'll be making for next week. But really quick, if you turn those data packs on, the bundle one will give you just the bundle, brand new feature. The other one will give you camels, all of those bamboo blocks, hanging signs, the brand new piglin head, note block functionality with the mob head thing, and then chisel bookshelf. Now, obviously, these things aren't out in full quite yet. These things might end up changing by the time the update actually releases, especially the chisel bookshelf. You could definitely see this thing getting even more functionality here. It's already super interesting, but I feel like there's still more room. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about this, I think, next week. So subscribe, because we're at the end. Minecraft Java 1.19.3, kind of a big update with tons of different changes. Now, this is the first update with this new release cycle, release schedule, release plan, whatever. Going forward, in the future, we should see more of these smaller updates like 1.19.4 and so on with more nice, wonderful changes. Also, just so you know, if you're into update videos, I've made a brand new update video playlist where I put, I think, every single video that I've made showcasing an update ever inside of that thing. You want to know about 1.14? Check out that playlist. And if you find one I missed, please tell me about that. Like I said at the beginning, list week begins next week. I've got tons of cool list style videos coming out for you, including some really big ones. It's gonna be awesome. Big shout out to my patrons, Fire Dragon 19, Empress MC, Kira and Maeve, and the Great Vegeta. Appreciate your support. It's been me, Minecraft's most handsome. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.